WCBL summer. Crazy to think we're already here.
It feels like we just started not too long ago, which we didn't. It was only, what, 2 months ago?
It sure was, yeah. And this ball hit well into right field, but looking and getting there in time is going to be, of course, the right fielder, Charlie Collins.
Yeah, Charlie Collins in the right spot in right field, basically. That one just popped up, had to take a couple steps over and make that catch. So a nice, good first out for the Gulls, getting on the board, first batter. So that's what you like to see defensively.
Absolutely. This will bring up Caleb Haney, who is their leading hitter for the Lethbridge Bulls. He's been a guy that they have looked to many, many times this regular season, coming in, hitting .363 with 32 RBIs, 4 homers, and he takes the first pitch for a called strike. Taking a look at our umpires today, you got Jeff Chipley behind home plate. Over at first, Don Buskus. He is the crew chief, and then the third base umpire, Levi Wagner, will be in as well. And then game 2, we'll see these guys back here tonight at 7 o'clock, except everybody's going to rotate positions for the umpire crew. But Bob is delivering this afternoon already with 1 away. It's up in the count, 1-2 over Haney. And very much like the Sylvan Lake Gulls, Lethbridge has also been playing similar style of baseball. 5-5 in their last 10. A team that's definitely slipped a little bit since the start of the season. You remember Lethbridge, how hot they were at the beginning of this season, and then they've kind of since dropped a couple places. They were leading the league, leading the West Division, and this ball is in foul territory, and John Boy-Rittenhouse just couldn't quite get there. That's a tough catch to make in foul territory. A lot of foul territory over there, but that ball was very close to the fence.
Yeah, impressive that that one just stayed in play, and John Boy had a chance at that one, but just kind of ran out of real estate. Fence is coming in quick, but see if Nora Bourgeois can finish the job right here.
Yeah, you got to be so careful not to hurt yourself running into the wall, especially when you got a busy schedule coming down the stretch. And a busy day, 2 9-inning games like you mentioned, Scott. This is going to be we're going to be here for a full shift today. That is for sure, getting our money's worth.
Yeah, lots of baseball today.
Yeah, it's going to be a
beautiful day for it too.
Beautiful day. And a strikeout here in the first inning on the second batter faced for Noah Bourgeois for out number 2.
Nice little change up there from Bourgeois to just slow things down, and that really got Haney swinging out of his shoes because he was expecting something quite a bit faster, and he did not get it. So a good punch out here for Bourgeois. Good start to this game.
Absolutely. A fly out, strikeout. Yeah, 2 batters in, 2 down. This will bring up Cordell Dick. Another heavy hitter for the Lethbridge Bulls.
Also, to touch on your point of the Bulls kind of slowing down throughout the season, it doesn't help that they've lost some key players, especially Claire Hout.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dick absolutely puts a barrel into this one, but it's caught. That left field going all the way back to the track. Michael Quick settles underneath of it to give the Sylvan Lake Gulls a nice 3-up, 3-down inning start. Great defensive work. They'll come to the bats in the bottom of the first when we come back.
Summer lingers in the air, in the sound, open skies, worn boots. One more night before it's gone. Gulls summer send-off.
Ethan Webster is going to get the nod on the mound for the Lethbridge Bulls as he comes into today's game with 6 starts already under his belt. He's got a 3-2 record, 8.18 ERA, 33 innings of work, 27 strikeouts, giving up just 46 hits and 9 walks. And here is who he is going to face in the Sylvan Lake Gulls batting order. Jaden Flores will lead things off. Michael Quick and Elijah Hamill. We talked about Flores the other day, and with Matty Fung in attendance this week, very similar style of play to Matty Fung. As Matty said, yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of myself with just a really good leadoff hitter, a guy that's got a good eye at the plate. Dom Giusti will round out the batting order, who's also been generating some good offensive momentum for the Sylvan Lake Gulls as of late. But we take a look at the defense. Not going to be easy to get one by these guys. Caleb Haney, Jalen Ryan, Jordan Monroe in the outfield. You bring it to the infield. Zach Kavanaugh over at third. Jack Wheatley will play short. Tetsu Nishida over at the second base position. And then Xander Meisner over at first with the Bulls catcher, Cardell Dick. So we'll see what the Gulls have in store here today. As I mentioned, coming off a nice day off yesterday, probably a little bit more rested, relaxed. It's been a busy few weeks for them, and they're looking to kind of pick up from where they left off on Sunday afternoon. And maybe, well, there's one way to get on base right off the get-go. First pitch hitting Jaden Flores. So he has to take a stinger to kind of get himself into this ball game.
Welcome to the ball game. Jaden Flores just takes that one off the hip, maybe just above the hip there.
On the side.
First pitch on base, it's maybe not how you write it up, but you'll take being on base to start this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's not necessarily how you, like you said, you draw it up, but you take what you get. And Sylvan Lake with a runner on already. Michael Quick with a sensational grab over in left field so far earlier on in this game. Had to run all the way back to the wall. I thought it had a chance to carry the fence, and it just stayed in the park, and he caught it right on the track, running with it over his shoulder.
Yeah, just the way that ball was hit, it looked like right off the bat it had a chance to go, and it did have a chance, but it kind of might have got blown in a little bit to stay in the park.
Now, there is a nice little light summer breeze here at the ballpark on this Tuesday afternoon. A very rare matinee game you would see in the WCBL, but because it is a make-up rain-out game, you had to get it in. The schedule is only so big, and you got to fit in these games when you can. And luckily for Sylvan Lake, this was going to be another off day originally on the schedule, but it turned into a busy full day of baseball because of 2 rain-out games from May and June, which we remember from there. It was a tough start to the summer here in central Alberta and across the prairies. Even Saskatchewan had a lot of rain out their way in the month of May and June as well.
Seems like once the calendar flipped to July, we haven't really had much for rain.
No, it's been hot and sunny, and that's what you like to see. It's just been perfect. You get enough rain in June, it's kind of kept everything pretty green here in July with the heat and the sun. Things are growing. I mean, yeah, a little bit of rain at night wouldn't hurt anybody by any means. Michael Quick hits this on the ground. Nice scoop there by Kavanaugh, and he makes the throw over to Nishida for the out number 1, the leading runner. Can't turn the double play, however, as Michael Quick hits it pretty good. Kavanaugh with a good throw, and Nishida thought about it, decides to hold on to it. So Michael Quick will reach base on a fielder's choice. And that will bring up the honorable WCBL Village Brewery Player of the Week mention to Elijah Hamill, who had a terrific game on Sunday to wrap up the weekend, and he picks up from where he left off. First pitch swinging, and he hits this solid into right field for a stand-up double.
Hamill staying hot right there. Nice little 2-bagger down the right field line. That one he sends pretty much right to the corner. Stand-up double, and Quick gets over to third base. So now you got 2 runners in scoring position for probably one of the favorite hitters to have in the box in that position, John Boy Rittenhouse.
And I said it here in-house in my pregame report that I do with the fans right before the game gets going, and I said Elijah Hamill is going to be one of those guys you're going to have to keep an eye on as this week goes on, and he's going to be a player to watch here, especially today, because he's just so dangerous, and when he gets hot, and it's hard to cool down. And he continues to just have himself some really good at-bats as of late, and he's got a great glove as well, making some pretty good catches in the outfield.
4 for 5 last game, 5 RBI and a home run.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, 3-run homer on Sunday afternoon. And John Boy Rittenhouse also chasing him in that home run tally, both tied for the leading home run hitters for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. They're also joined with Maddox Shaver. There's a 3-way tie right now for this team's leading home run hitters. And John Boy Rittenhouse takes a little bit of a lazy swing at it, but it will drive in the first run of the game. So it is a sacrifice RBI for John Boy as he hits this to the shortstop and Jack Wheatley, and Gulls get on the board first.
Yeah, just a good job to get that ball in play, and he gets it over to shortstop, so you don't really have to worry about any of your leading runners getting out on that play. So just kind of exchange the out for the run for the Bulls, and that's the first run of the game. Gulls in a good spot here, maybe looking to get one more in before the inning's out.
Runner at third, that's Elijah Hamill still in scoring position. Coleman Perry now at the plate. And he takes a huge cut at it like he was trying to send that one a long ways. Perry hitting 300 exactly on the number coming into this afternoon's matchup. 23 RBIs, he's got 4 homers himself, 42 hits, and he's came around to score 27 times. And he hits it hard and high, but it's going to get caught up in the breeze. Jordan Monroe will settle underneath of it and make a catch. A little bit more adventurous than I think he wanted it to be, as that wind just kind of kept carrying it. But here is the big hit by John Boy Rittenhouse that would drive in run number 1, and the Gulls with a 1-0 lead heading into the second.
For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
For over a century, we've been more than just lawyers. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your strongest advocates. With 15 locations across the prairies, we're everywhere you are. Stringham, your local lawyers.
Have you ever wondered if there's one thing that connects people from across our province? Something that connects the coffee shop to the spray park, or the brewery to the rodeo, the campground to the sports field. It's pretty amazing when you think about how it's all connected, because it truly is. And it's all we think about, so you don't have to.
An absolute battle in the standings this time of year, and you take a look at the West Division coming into this matchup. Sylvan Lake holding on to second place. Lethbridge not far behind them. In fact, Lethbridge has 3 games in hand. They are 2.5 back from Sylvan Lake for that second place spot, but with 3 games in hand, Lethbridge might have a little bit of an advantage heading into the rest of the regular season. But Sylvan Lake, this obviously a huge game between these two teams. And then you got Energy City holding on to that final 4th playoff spot in the West Division. Now, obviously, Energy City having some interesting things going on with their ballpark as of late. The rain on Saturday really hurt that field, and the conditions, from our understanding, we don't know exactly what the conditions are like. But anybody is a Post Malone fan or Jelly Roll, and you've been keeping up to date on that concert that happened in Edmonton with the back-to-back nights, well, let's say Friday was the night to go to that concert, because Saturday was absolutely horrendous with the amount of rain that came through that stadium, the Commonwealth Stadium. Yeah, and that makes sense why maybe the field conditions for Sherwood or Energy City, which is not far from Edmonton, are not in probably playing condition. So they're actually, I believe, we got breaking news from Joe McFarland, who's a WCBL insider. He said that they will be playing actually just down the road from here in Red Deer at Great Chief Park against the Regina Red Sox, I believe, for a doubleheader. So yeah, it's wild, and that's tough for Energy City because they got to get these games in. They're running out of time. Of course, they had Lethbridge on Sunday for a doubleheader. That did not happen. This ball popped up to Dom Giusti at center field. He'll make the catch on Zach Kavanaugh for out number 1. So that makes things interesting too when you take a look at the standings and how the playoff picture is going to shape up, because these guys still have to get games in. Just now a matter of when and if.
And 5 of those days, we can say, are scheduled to be double headers for Energy City. They've got a crazy busy schedule.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to have an off day until playoffs start. And you look at that and you look at the gap they have on Brooks. Sure, it looks good, but if Brooks gets hot, you split some double headers or lose a few of them, that gap closes pretty quickly.
It does, yeah. And I mean, literally next Thursday is your last potential day to play. I mean, obviously, I think every team would want a day off before the playoffs begin, but I don't know if that's going to be the case for maybe some teams, just trying to get some games in here. As we know, the rain hasn't been our friends for the early stages of this 2026 WCBL season. Sylvan Lake has been able to manufacture ways to get that in, and that is why we're here all day today for 2 9-inning games. But yeah, Joe McFarland tweeted out 2 hours ago that the home game for Energy City against Regina Red Sox been moved to Great Chief Park in Red Deer. So crazy. That'll be today. 4 o'clock at 7.
Yeah, doubleheader. One of the first of 5 days of it.
And this ball popped up to shallow right center field, and it's going to drop. A little bit of a miscommunication there between the outfielders and Jaden Flores, who was running back on it. Nobody called it, at least from what I can pick out of this, and it kind of just landed right in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. I think Flores didn't really know. He might have lost in the sun.
It looked like he had it all the way, and then I don't know if he thought that he got called off at the last second, which might have been why he let up, or maybe he did just lose it in the sun. It's a tough one, and quickly the Bulls are on second base.
Yeah, and it was one of those starts that so far the defense has been keeping pretty good tabs on the Lethbridge Bulls. Hasn't seeming like it hasn't really been much of danger from Lethbridge just yet, but an error will be credited to the Gulls for the first time this afternoon. So this will bring up Xander Meisner, who is the first baseman for Lethbridge. And Jack Wheatley gets over to second. This will be Lethbridge's only game this afternoon. So they're just in for the makeup game. So a 3-1 count now to Xander Meisner. And it's a walk. So an error and a walk gets 2 runners on for Lethbridge for the first time today. So if you're Sylvan Lake, this is where you just got to settle things down, kind of compose yourself a little bit, and just play the game that you know you can play. They've been a great start up until this point.
And your defense can still pick things up. You get a nice ground ball, turn 2, and all of a sudden you're out of the inning.
And good teams can make you pay, too, when you give up free passes.
And that's what we saw with the Gulls in the last inning. They got a free pass with a hit by pitch, and then they followed that up with a nice double, and then it was that leadoff hit by pitch that came around the plate to score.
0-2 now to Jordan Monroe. And Monroe coming in, hitting .225. He's got 12 RBIs and 1 homer. Hits this right up the ground like you mentioned. Flores flips it. Graves turns it, and there's the double play you needed. The 4-6-3 play gets the Gulls out of this jam. The air does not come back to haunt them, and they will come to the plate in the bottom of the second when we come back.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Well, we talk about the West Division standings heading into this game. Let's take a look now over to the East, where things are even a little bit more interesting and entertaining to watch. You got Moose Jaw and Saskatoon. Okay, they're pretty good. They're set for the number 2 spots in the East. But then you take a look at the 3, 4, 5, 6 positions. It is anybody's game right now to secure a spot in this year's WCBL playoffs. Regina obviously holding third. Medicine Hat has leapfrogged Weyburn now for that 4th and final position, but my goodness, it is so tight right now in that East Division standing. Swift Current, obviously, they're playing Moose Jaw this evening, and then Regina with the doubleheader, as we mentioned earlier on, with Energy City. Medicine Hat doesn't have it any easier, though. They got to play the Saskatoon Berries in Saskatoon at 7. And so those games all important right now. Regina maybe with the favored schedule out of all those Eastern teams today. And this ball hit and skied by Charlie Collins, which will be catchable for Jalen Ryan, and he will make the catch at center field.
That ball was hit really high out to center field, and not that Jalen Ryan was struggling with it, but you could see that he just wanted to make sure that he secured that catch in center field, as we've already seen a misplay in the top half of this inning from the Gulls. So you just want to make sure that you got it. The sun is a factor because it's so high in the sky as well, because it's an afternoon game.
And a little bit of that breeze, too. It kind of makes a little bit, things a little interesting, play some tricks on you. So this is Reese Sherman and then Tylen Graves on deck. The scheduled batters to come to the plate here in the bottom half of this second inning. Sylvan Lake up 1-0 on 1 hit. You know what? I got to say, I'm pretty impressed with the crowd attendance for a Tuesday afternoon, middle of the work week. It is summer, though.
Yeah.
But, a lot of kids here, too, hanging out of the ballpark. Why not? It's a great summer day to be here.
I think that's kind of the plus side, is it's legitimately summer. We're in the midst of it, so some people are on vacation, just taking time off, so you can show up to the games. It's been a perfect day for it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And Sherman takes that high fastball inside for strike number 3 and a strikeout. The first one for the Lethbridge Bulls.
Yeah, just a little bit of high heat there from Ethan Webster, getting Reese Sherman to chase after it up in the zone.
So that'll bring up Tylen Graves, the shortstop, and the number 8 hitter for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Graves hitting .260, 31 RBIs, 4 homers. And that hits him.
Yeah, that came awful close if it didn't hit him, but it certainly sounded like it hit him as we take another look at this one. And, yep, just kind of off the upper part of the arm.
And Jeff Chipley tapping his chest saying, yeah, that did catch a piece. So a runner on, and Dom Giusti at the plate. And I had a good chat with him after Sunday's game, and I complimented his game. I said, man, you were in our talks for EG Auction Player of the Game. He was defensively just making putouts after putouts. I think he had 6 in that game alone at center field, made some really good catches, made a diving catch to make the 1, and then his offense, he was finding ways to still get on base, came around to score. It was, you know, his batting is getting even better too. You could see the confidence more and more in that bat, and Dom Giusti, it's just a matter of time. This kid is going to pop off. I mean, he hit one last on Sunday, from what I remember, hit it foul, and he turned on it so much that, like, it was going to be way out of this. It went way out of the ballpark, foul territory. It almost smashed my car, actually.
He's also been batting all over in the order. He's been the top of the order. He's bottom of the order tonight, or this afternoon, I should say. But he's a guy that he can kind of turn things over. Like, that's a good spot to be in the top of the order. That means you're going to see more at bats. But at the same time, at the bottom of the order, if you can flip it back to the top, you're doing your job.
He pops this behind the plate. It's still hanging in the air, and it's going to be caught for out number 3 by the catcher, Cardell Dick. A good job there. That wind just kind of held that ball up on him, and unfortunate break for Dom Giusti, but a good one for the Lethbridge Bulls. They'll come to the plate in the top of the 3rd when we come back.
For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
For over a century, we've been more than just lawyers. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your strongest advocates. With 15 locations across the prairies, we're everywhere you are. Stringham, your local lawyers.
Yo, that's the one. You going?
Yes.
Can I join you guys? All right, let's go.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta.
Welcome back to Gulls Baseball and FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. Cale Clark here with Scott Stimson up in the Gulls nest all day long here with you on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Great action across the Western Canadian Baseball League as we continue to roll closer to postseason action. Just already a week and a half away from playoff ball here in central Alberta and across the prairies. Carson Haney, the DH, will step in to lead things off here in the top half of the 3rd inning, and he is quickly down in the count, 0-2. This is Caleb Haney's brother. As we mentioned already on previous broadcasts, this is the team of brotherhood.
Yes.
5 or 6 sets of brothers in this team, in this roster. Lethbridge, one of those teams that started the season so hot. They were top of the league. And then they've kind of, they lose Carter Clare out. They still played really good baseball. And then they've kind of taken a little bit of a step back in the last little bit, but so have the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Both teams 5-5 in their last 10, and kind of one of those things where it's now crunch time, and it's who's going to come up big when they need to. This ball hit really hard to Coleman Perry, who makes a good grab off the 2-hopper for out number 1.
Yeah, just a ground ball hit off the end of the bat to first base. Coleman Perry handles that pretty easily and gets the play at first base.
So Jalen Ryan, the center fielder, steps in now. He'll round out the batting order for the Bulls. Noel Bourgeois is having a good start so far, too, for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. That's kind of been, obviously, I think a lot of the key to their success when they do get the wins. You're getting the good starts from your pitchers.
And they seem to have had a really good string of starters the last week or so, really.
Yeah.
I think we saw one that wasn't maybe quite what they wanted, but bullpen stepped up and gave some really solid innings in relief.
And this ball hit on the ground to Flores. He'll scoop it up, make the throw, and in time for out number 2. Yeah, you talk about it on Saturday. I mean, Saturday was a little bit of a tougher day on the mound for the Gulls, but they also ran into a hot offensive batting team in the Saskatoon Berries. But then Sunday comes around and they get a really, really good start from Mason Little. And, you know, their pitching just kind of backed it up as that afternoon went on. So you can get the pitching. It gives you a really good opportunity to walk away with victory.
Yeah, and a good response game for them coming back against Saskatoon. They obviously had a tough start to the Saturday game, but they worked their way back into it, made it exciting to the final out.
Ball hit softly off the fists right to Flores, and he calls everybody off, making the catch in shallow right field. So some good defensive work yet again by the Sylvan Lake Gulls as it's another 3-up, 3-down inning. They'll come to the plate at the bottom of the third when we come back.
Hey baseball fans, make sure to stay up to date with your favorite teams across the league by subscribing to the WCBL YouTube channel right now. We have tons of free coverage for you over there, including daily highlights, full archive game broadcasts, daily game day previews, plus the WCBL report with myself and Joe McFarland every Wednesday. It's all in one spot, the WCBL YouTube channel. Subscribe today.
Ethan Webster on the mound for his third inning of work. Had a much better recovery there back in the second inning, who got his first strikeout, and now he's got to face the top of the batting order for the second time this afternoon, and it's Jaden Flores again, the number 1 hitter, who will lead things off.
He's only seen one pitch, and he wore it.
Yes, exactly. So Flores hoping to not have to worry about that again.
And I'm sure Webster would also like to not have to worry about that either.
Yeah. Flores turns on it, first pitch swinging, deep center field going all the way back, and it's going to be caught by Jalen Ryan. Got some really good wood on the ball, but I feel like the ball's just not going to fly as far today because of the way the wind is blowing. It's kind of blowing in from the outfield.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it came, maybe 2 steps shy of going to the warning track, and without that wind, maybe that's has a chance to go right out, but also to pretty much the deepest part of the ballpark. So not easy spot to hit a home run, but good power there from Flores.
Yeah, we saw it on Sunday. Maddox Shaver hit it the furthest you can hit to get over the fence, and that was right dead center, 400. Michael Quick here, who got on base due to a fielder's choice, and then he was the runner that came around to score for the Gulls. But we were talking a little bit off air about that breeze. It's almost nice that there's a breeze here this afternoon, or else it would be smoking hot. And Michael Quick, good check swing there, did not go around.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty stuffy day without that breeze. You can kind of feel that the heat's there for sure, but it's just not, you're just not sweating sitting there. Or at least not for us in the shade.
Yeah, absolutely. 4-pitch walk to Michael Quick. Will get on base for the second straight time today.
Yeah, good patience for Michael Quick. Just one time that he thought about swinging, but he checked his swing, so he was all good there. Earns a 4-pitch walk.
that will bring up the team's leading batting average hitter, Elijah Hamill. 333 coming into today. 26 RBIs, 8 homers, 38 hits, 7 of them being extra bases. And he's come around to score 24 times in 114 at-bats. Hamill hits it on the ground. Foul territory, though. Now 0-2. Coolest thing, and one of the coolest stories about Elijah Hamill, is his note to fame earlier on as a child. He was one of the cast members for Paw Patrol.
Really?
He was.
Well, that's pretty sweet.
He was Ryder from Paw Patrol, and then his voice dropped a year and a half after that, and he was no longer able to go back to voice on the show as puberty hit, and now he can only be on there for so long. So yeah, really, it's kind of one of my favorite stories. You know, for a lot of players that come through Sylvan Lake, that's kind of one of the more unique ones that you hear is a guy that is
a young voice actor. That's a pretty rare job in general.
Voice actor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jim had a good chance to talk to him about it, and this ball thrown over to first, just getting back in time was Michael Quick with the slide.
So if baseball doesn't work out for him, we know he could, well, maybe not as a child voice actor anymore, but maybe go back to voice acting in general.
There could be something there for him, absolutely. Nice guy. 1-2, and he hits it center field, where balls have gone to die so far today, and that's another catch by Jalen Ryan. Second catch of the inning for him.
Third of the game for him as well, so he's been pretty busy, especially recently for the Bulls out in center field.
That'll bring up John Boy Rittenhouse. He's got an RBI in this game. Grounded out last at bat in the first. And he takes a good cut at that one, fouling it off. 0-1. Well, if the playoffs were to start today, Scott, this would be your first round matchup right here.
It's also been looking like the first round matchup for quite a few weeks now. The gap is kind of favoring these two teams. It's looking like it's just going to be who's going to have home field.
Exactly. Yep.
And you got today and 2 more games against the Bulls, so likely those 3 games are going to be what determines who goes where.
Exactly, yeah.
Those games mean a lot when you can shift up the standings.
And I just have a feeling this playoffs, it's going to be a wild playoffs.
Yep.
It's not going to be easy road to the finals this year for any team.
And like you look, especially out in the East, I don't know if I'd be wanting to play in that first round, because you got teams that are desperately trying to make playoffs, so they're going to be playing their best ball. So it's not going to be an easy first round by any means, even though the teams are extremely good at the top.
Well, this ball hit into shallow center field. That will drop for a base hit for John Boy. So this inning continues with a 2-out rally.
Yeah, good piece of hitting for Rittenhouse again. Last time gets a RBI ground out. This time he pokes it out to center field. A nice little single there to keep a 2-out rally going.
Well, and you said it best. I mean, with the East Division, with these guys, the 4 teams that are battling for that final playoff spot, they're going into the playoffs. They're going to already be going to the playoffs, playoff ready.
Yes, they're playing playoff baseball right
now. Exactly, they are playing playoff baseball right now. So that's going to be an advantage for them, as this is another base hit, a little looper that drops shallow right field, and it's going to drive in another run. Michael Quick comes around to score for the second time this afternoon. Coleman Perry this time with the RBI single.
Yeah, nice little hit there for Coleman Perry, opposite field to right field, and it was deep enough to score a run, and then it kind of got bobbled there by Jordan Monroe. And not that John Boy wasn't going to get to third anyways, but it made him get there easily uncontested.
Yeah.
And it's just simple baseball. Just get the base hits that you're given, basically, and just keep turning it over to the next guy in the lineup, see what he can do.
I think it's going to be one of those days with just the way the breeze is coming in from the outfield. It's not going to be a matter of hitting the ball hard. It's going to be a matter of just hitting the ball. And this will be a force out at second to bring it to a close. But the Gulls do add another run on the board, now up by a pair, 2-0. Thanks to, this time, Coleman Perry, who sends an opposite field looper. Michael Quick comes in to score. It's 2-0, head in the fourth. Caleb Haney back at the dish for his second plate appearance on the afternoon, facing Noah Bourgeois, who struck out last time at bat, and this time he pops it straight up in the air. John Boy Rittenhouse will make an easy catch on the first pitch, swinging for out number one, just like that. It's been a pretty efficient day, Sylvan Lake Gulls concerned, in the defensive side of things.
Yeah, it certainly has, and if you want your That's Baseball stat of the day, heading into this inning, now that we've had an extra pitch, after 3 innings, both pitchers had 41 pitches, 27 of them for strikes, both of them.
Oh, wow.
Exact same stat after 3
good.
innings. And like you said, it's part of the efficiency. You're having under 15 pitches on average per inning. That's a pretty good pace.
Get a little bit of some dust coming in from behind the outfield as construction crews are continuing to develop this beautiful Pagato Park area in Sylvan Lake, Alberta. As we know, it's not just going to be just the ballparks. It's that right there. They're putting a football field in over there with that semi backing up. Nice, well-hit ball to John Boy Rittenhouse, who makes a hard throw in time over to Coleman Perry, and he makes it look easy. A ball that's hit pretty hard into the hole and down the line. And he just makes the long, hard throw right in the glove of Coleman Perry. Wow.
Yeah, both corner infielders doing their job there. John Boy Rittenhouse getting to that ball. That's not an easy one to pick up on the third baseline. Long throw over to first, and Coleman Perry digs that one out of the ground as well.
But yeah, that football field is definitely looking like it's coming in nicely.
Yeah, they've made a lot of progress, especially this last week. You can see how flat it is. It's starting to shape up like a field now.
It helps with not a lot of rain either.
Yes.
That these guys can, put the dirt down and they can flatten it out, level it, and then they'll get. I'm sure they'll probably. I'm not sure if they're putting artificial turf on that field or if it's going to be real grass, but be interesting to see what it looks like by the end of it. It'll be such a unique look, maybe for us coming back next year or the year after, with what this park's going to look like in a year or two's time with the development that they are doing here in Sylvan Lake.
If this wasn't already the place to be, it will be.
And that's a great shot, gentlemen, at Green Onion Media. I mean, look at the work that's going into over there. That's going to be a really cool sight line here for fans here at the Gulls games with You're going to start to see the uprights be put in, and you'll see a lot of cool things taking place. It's going to be a busy spot in warmer months in Sylvan Lake. Zach Kavanaugh at the plate, flew out to center field his last at-bat. Even count to him now, and he hits this very similarly to like last time, a little bit shallower center field. And going all the way back will be Tyler Graves to make the catch. So for the 4th time today, that's another 3-up, 3-down inning. We'll be back with more Gulls baseball in the bottom of the 4th. Well, we had another hot dog eating contest, which featured a couple of Gulls players who aren't probably coming in for this game one. And always fun to see, and looks like they brought in some of the newcomers this year that just recently have arrived for Sylvan Lake, kind of getting them, in on this one. That was Dane Liskey, who's a rookie, and this ball hit well into right field. Off the wall it goes as Reese Sherman gets to second. Just like that. First pitch swinging, not wasting any time here in this bottom half of the 4th inning. Take a look at this. Opposite field hit, and it sails all the way back, and it lands right off the wall.
Yeah, Reese Sherman liked what he saw there. A quick little 2-bagger to open up the bottom of the 4th inning. A little hot dog race into some running on the base paths as Zach McDonald looked like he won that battle against Dane Liskey.
Yeah, Liskey and Owen McDonald, the two rookies who play for the Gulls prep team, filling in and being called up just in case. Future is bright with this prep team. We saw what they did in the road to Okotoks, second in the country.
Yeah, second best team in the country is a pretty good thing, and number 1 was Okotoks, which is probably to be expected.
Yeah, they're definitely the more well-developed program here in Canada and in Western Canada anyways. They've been around the longest, that's for sure. So Tyler Graves 0-2. Was hit by a pitch his last at-bat, got on base, but didn't get much further than first. Four hits now on Ethan Webster. So Sylvan Lake having some pretty good success so far against him. Now an even count, 2-2. And it's now a full count, just like that, to Tyler Graves. He was down 0-2, and here we are, 3-2 count. That's fouled off to stay alive for Graves. So Sylvan Lake Gulls head-to-head against Lethbridge this year, 3-2. So these teams, every time they play each other, it's up in the air who's going to come away with a win. As they've played 5 times now, this is number 6.
And then 2 more after this.
And then they got still 2 more after that, yeah.
And then maybe 3 more after that.
Yeah, true.
Very evenly matched teams, which is good to see.
Well, what Sylvan Lake did in the playoffs, they went undefeated right till the bitter end to the finals against the Regina Red Sox. This year, I don't think that's going to necessarily happen, just with the way these teams all shake out. And this is hit on the ground now to Wheatley, who will make the throw in time for out number 1. However, that does do the job as it advances Reese Sherman over to third.
Yeah, good job to roll it over to shortstop. That gives Sherman plenty of space to get over to third base. And now Dom Giusti's got an RBI opportunity. Infield's going to come in to try to play against the bunt, but that makes it a little bit easier to lift things into the outfield if he's wanting to swing it.
Yeah, just some soft contact over the infielders' heads would be exactly what you need. Or a hard hit ball, because they're that much closer. It makes it a little harder for them to react to that ball.
It's kind of interesting because you come in, obviously your reaction time's that much slower, but at the same time, you're eliminating quite a bit of space coming in.
You are.
So if you're in the right spot, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you're cutting off the angles. I'm sure where Dom Giusti is right now with what he's looking at, it doesn't look like there's a lot of gaps in the infield.
No.
There's not a lot of holes out there.
And that's where basically you just need the power to make them bobble it or just find the right hole, because there's not going to be much.
Takes that one inside. Now 3-1 count on Dom Giusti from Elk Grove, California. The Whitworth University product. Swings on that towards the dugout. I always love watching the boys in the dugout react to those hard hit balls towards them. Like one of them were putting their hand down in the dugout trying to reach for that. Just standing there. And this is hit on the ground, and they do the job perfectly for the Lethbridge Bulls as Jack Wheatley cuts it off, and being that much closer to the hitter makes the throw in time to keep Reese Sherman in check over at third.
Yeah, Giusti tried to kind of just get it in play, see what can happen, but it's right to the shortstop, and Jack Wheatley, he's able to look at Sherman, make sure he's going to stay at third base, and make the throw over to first, and now they can go back to their normal positions as they got 2 away.
Yeah, now they can kind of go back deep in the infield. Flores, who has been 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning, flew out to center in the third. Reese Sherman over at third for Sylvan Lake, 90 feet away from scoring another run for the Gulls, up by a pair over the Bulls. Wiley, Texas kid, he was our EG Auctions player of the game back on Saturday night there, and it's funny, he went home with Matty Fung. He's billeting with the same billet family that Matty Fung had. And there's a strike on Flores, who came around on his swing. And he was telling Matty, didn't know why he was picked player of the game back on Saturday. And Matty's like, what do you mean? Matty knew exactly why he was picked player of the game, because Matty is knows what it takes to be a guy that can get on base and can come around to score. And how about that? Jaden Flores lifts this into right center field. That will drive in another run, now making it 3-0, and he might be going around for third here, and he is. How about it? A triple for Jaden Flores with the RBI on tack as well.
Nice little RBI triple for Flores. A good spot that he hits. It just kind of rolls it into the gap between right and center field. It rolls all the way to the wall. He was rounding second by the time the ball got picked up, so he makes it to third fairly easily. Makes sure to stay on top of the base so he's not tagged out, but big hit right there for the Gulls.
Now Michael Quick with a runner 90 feet away from scoring can keep this inning going. Add to the lead. Oh, and that pitch almost gets by Cardell Dick. Good catch, though, by him to keep that from going back to the screen, or else that would have done some more damage.
And that's twice now in this game they've been able to score with 2 outs, so it's good clutch hitting there for the Gulls.
We were talking a little bit about it on Saturday. We were talking a little bit about it on Sunday. It really seems like the Gulls, they like to drive in the runs when it is down to 2 outs, when there is a little bit more of that pressure put on them. And that's a great triple. Look at him just go. And Flores has the wheels, too, that he can do things like this. And, yeah, nice hard hit ball that would be maybe mostly a double for most. Turns into a triple for him. And now a walk here for Michael Quick, as I believe that hit him. And we take a look at the replay here, and we'll get another view of it all. And, yes, it goes right off the leg. So he gets on base. Runners on corner, and the construction crew's making a little smoky out there for the outfielders. Everybody's kind of getting dusted out there right now with the way the smoke is coming in off the gravel.
Yeah, you look up and it looks like a Giroud song out there, a little sandstorm.
Yeah. So that's the third time now that Michael Quick has reached base, but not by hitting the ball. He got on with, well, fielder's choice, I guess, was the one that was a hitting ball play, and then walk in the third and hit batsman in the fourth.
No, this would be very interesting if he's able to score all 3 times.
Yes. Yeah, that would be pretty wild.
This is probably the most unlikely way for him to score just with 2 outs, but you got the guy at the dish, you can easily make it happen.
Yes. If anybody's going to make it likely, it's Elijah Hamill. 2 down.
And then if he can keep the lineup moving, you got Rittenhouse after that and Perry. So it's at once you might look at it unlikely, but also highly likely as well.
Yeah, bulk of the order coming up for sure. And Hamill has been batting a lot left-handed this summer. Hasn't been facing a whole lot of left-handed pitchers. And that gets past Dick, so that'll score another run for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and Michael Quick now gets into scoring position over at second.
And then you look at the odds of him scoring now, they've just ratcheted up a few percentage points on that pass ball there, going 5-hole there on Cardell Dick.
So Gulls now up by 4 runs over the Bulls. No action in the bullpen for the Bulls either. Hamill hits this right off the end of the bat. Foul territory, opposite field. That'll go towards the kid zone. And it's a strikeout on Elijah Hamill as he watches that one go by. And a good pitch there by Ethan Webster to get out of this inning. But the Gulls do more damage. A nice RBI triple by Jaden Flores adds a couple more runs. 4-0. Noah Bourgeois back on the mound for his 5th inning of work for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and he is going to take Jack Wheatley on to lead things off here for the 2nd time. Wheatley got on base due to a flying error in right center field that kind of landed in between all 3 basemen. So I'm not really sure who the error was credited to. It'll be online, I guess.
They gave it to Flores.
And they did give it to Flores, okay. So error to the second baseman that got Wheatley on last at bat, but he didn't get any further than second base. As this is softly hit to John Boy Rittenhouse, is going to have to grab it, but there's absolutely no chance or play on that hit ball. So there's going to be the first base hit of the ball game for the Lethbridge Bulls.
Yeah, no hitter going into the 5th inning. That's the quality start that you're getting from Noah Bourgeois. He faced one more batter than the minimum, so he's been wheeling and dealing, and that's just a perfectly hit ball off the end of the bat as Rittenhouse tried to make a barehander, but figured, let's just take the one bag and let's not put him on second.
Yeah, not force anything that they don't need to. You know, as a pitcher, that's got to be such a tough, hit to have to give up when you know what you got going for you on the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
One that's just the softest hit that it's so soft that no one can even get to it in time. Yeah, intentional bunt basically is what I like to call it, a swinging unintentional bunt. That's a tough one, but the Lethbridge Bulls will sure take it.
Yes.
And that's a great leadoff base hit for Jack Wheatley and this Bulls team.
Well, if there's one thing that this infield can do for the Gulls is they're able to erase those.
Oh,
they
are.
Gave up, like you mentioned, that kind of 2-bag error, and then they got a double play immediately after. Well, not immediately, but 2 batters later to get out of the inning.
Well, and here's the Lethbridge Bulls team coming into, this season, knew they were going to be a very good, powerful offensive team. And I think the difference right now is their scoring differential is plus 39. The Gulls are plus 138, almost 100 more. However, when you look at the runs scored count, the Lethbridge Bulls have 334. Meanwhile, the Gulls have 345. So they're only 11 run differential in scoring, but where it becomes a difference is the defense.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Sylvan Lake might have the edge right now as far as how this team is built. Their defense is built a little bit more solid.
I think also earlier in the year, the Bulls are involved in quite a few blowout games as well. So they're winning by 10, 20 runs even in a few games. So they're able to really get up in the run scored column there.
And then they also had some blowouts against them, but this ball is hit hard. It's going all the way back to the wall, and it's out of here. Charlie Collins thought about making the jump for it, but that ball got up in the airways and just rode all the way deep, and it cleared the fence. The Lethbridge Bulls have now cut this lead in half.
Yeah, a 2-run shot there for the Bulls as that one was just carrying, and just got over to the fence there. Has a big swing there, and he's able to send it to the pole side. And that gets the Bulls to cut their deficit in half.
Yeah, nice 2-run homer there by Xander Meisner. So that probably gives the Bulls a little bit of life now after something that hasn't really been going their way this afternoon. It's been pretty quiet offensively for them. Now they're starting to get a little momentum here with 0 down. And, again, Noah Bourgeois not giving up a hit until literally a batter ago, and then the next batter comes in and he drills it over the wall. Ball hit in foul territory, and it's going to trail towards the Gulls bullpen and hop in there. John Boy Rittenhouse trying to get there, but
it's twice it's been hitting basically into that little spot there, kind of the biggest part of foul territory because there's a bit of a corner there as well.
Yeah, it kind of cuts out right before the bullpen and opens up even more so for more foul territory. Well, Noah Bourgeois settles in and kind of just resets and sits down the next batter he faces with a strikeout. That's a great response by him.
Yeah, Bourgeois is able to kind of come back. Nice little 12-6 curveball, just dropping into the zone. It's a couple times that he's kind of gone to it to get a strikeout. That was earlier in the game, second batter of the game that he did it.
That was a nasty one, too. That dropped a lot. That was a filthy curveball in there. Nice. A lot of movement.
Seems kind of rare that you see such a straight curveball. Like, that was up, down. There wasn't really much side-to-side action on it either.
0-2 on Carson Haney. And another strikeout by Noah Bourgeois. I think you might have woke the beast a little bit with that home run, and now he's like, okay, well, that's enough. I'm going to just take matter into my own hands here.
And he's throwing that curveball because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just run it back, because they are unable to catch up to it. And obviously it's looking like a different pitch because they're so far ahead with their swing.
What a great, that's what really defines a good pitcher, is a guy that can not get rattled after, one goes over the fence. He just calms down and sits two batters back to back with punch outs.
And also good calling of the game from Sherman.
Oh, absolutely.
They went right after Jalen Ryan here. When they went fastball, he wasn't expecting it, kind of had to fight that one off, and then they go back to the curveball. They're just keeping him on his heels.
Well, Bourgeois didn't like the original call, comes back with a fastball. I think Sherman wanted him to go back to the off speed, and he said, no, let's fire one more in there. And that one just missing the corner, trying to get, and it was a great pitch, trying to get Jalen Ryan to chase up and away. And that one, that was close. The off speed almost paints the corner.
Yeah, it's a couple times that he's trying to just get that outside freezer to get out of the inning.
Well, why not? Make it 3 straight strikeouts for Noah Bourgeois after giving up his first hit of the game, and then the next one was a home run. But he settles in, doesn't rattle him. In fact, it just gets him going even more so. 3 straight strikeouts. Noah Bourgeois retires this inning. Nine games left in the regular season for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. 6 of those 9 right here at Gulls Field. Nothing like some home cooking to go into the postseason as the Gulls lead 4-2 after 4.5 innings of play, and they'll come to the plate yet again. John Boy Rittenhouse leading things off this time, who's 1 for 2 with an RBI already in his name this afternoon. Continues to lead this team in ribeyes.
Talk about home cooking, a guy who likes to use the grill maybe.
Exactly. I like how you picked up on where I was putting down there. That was good. Rittenhouse with 43 RBIs. Now 44 with today's count, and this is popped up to right field, going all the way to the line. It's going to land fair. Nobody there. And Rittenhouse with a double.
Yeah, just the way that ball was going up and farther out, you could see first base and right field didn't really have a shot at it. It was the second baseman, Tetsu Nishida, that kind of had a beat on it, and it just kept carrying away from him and drops. And because you've got 3 fielders that are right there, that's going to open things up on the infield. So kind of an easier double there for Rittenhouse, even though it wasn't that deep. And if you have a throw that's kind of offline, that you might end up at third base, but it comes over near second, so it holds him up right there.
Well, you could just see as soon as that ball was in the air and how it was trailing, and with Meisner not really knowing where that ball was, and he's kind of got his back to the play, the only guy that could get close to it was the second baseman. What a catch here at the shortstop position. Jack Wheatley comes across and makes a sensational grab for the Lethbridge Bulls. Coleman Perry hit it pretty good, but Wheatley had to track underneath of it for quite a ways and makes a good catch.
Yeah, Perry didn't quite get enough wood on that one to squeak it out to the outfield, and good job there by Wheatley to track that one down, as he had quite a bit of range to get over there.
That'll bring up Charlie Collins, the right fielder. He's 0 for 1 today, and he hits a looper into right field, shallow right field. That will get in for a base hit.
And it's a few times where it hasn't really been hard contact. It's just soft enough to, okay, try to find some grass there, and maybe there's a chance at it. So that's kind of what held Rittenhouse near second. He just wants to make sure that ball actually gets down. He doesn't want to get doubled up right there. So gets him over to third. Runners on the corners now for Reese Sherman.
I feel like there's been a lot of those today.
Yes.
Just some soft hit balls, loopers into shallow field territory that with a little bit of the wind too, they just drop. Now Sherman, who is the home run derby hitter for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, making the finals. He's the top 3 finalist in that home run derby. Will step back into the plate, who had a pretty good hit ball too today already. Double back in the 4th inning. Runners on the corners.
Yeah, Sherman's a guy who's got some good extra base hitting. It seems like he hits a lot of doubles this season. And obviously he's got some pop in his bat, being in the home run derby, having a few home runs himself.
Yeah, he's got 10 extra base hits before today, which is tied for second on this team, the most double hit or extra base hits. Or I should say, sorry, he's third. Forgot Charlie Collins also had a triple this year, so he's technically third in this team for the extra bases. 3-1 to Sherman. Hits it softly on the ground. Goes right back to Ethan Webster, who tries to make the throw, but not in time. And a base hit lands for Sherman to load the bases with only 1 down here in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
Yeah, that one's just off the end of the bat. You just look over at third base and you see Rittenhouse trying to, okay, do I go? No, let's probably stay here just in case they throw it to home. And then Reese Sherman beats out the throw, so it's a good bases loaded situation now for Tylen Graves. Chance here to get some runs back that you just gave up.
Well, we saw what Noah Bourgeois, a.k.a. Bob, did back in that top half of this inning. He responded quite well. 3 straight strikeouts after giving up a 2-run homer. Back-to-back base hits, and then he sits 3 straight. Now it's the offense turn to have a response themselves. 8 hits for the Sylvan Lake Gulls already on the afternoon. Graves would like to make it 1 more. And that gets past the catcher. John Boyd thought about it, and by the time he kind of hesitated, realized he wasn't going to make it in time.
Yeah, Tylen Graves immediately said, hey, come in, we're going to score here. But Rittenhouse, like you said, he just hesitated on the play. But there's kind of a miscommunication there, because you see Graves' hand first initially says stop, and then he switches it up. Yeah. So you kind of see that misread.
And honestly, that ball didn't go as far as I think they anticipated on it either. That ball did kind of stay close to home plate. So that was kind of, I think that was exactly what the hesitation was all about. It's like, is that ball far enough for me to get there in time? Because it was a good recovery by Cardell Deck. He once he found it, he raced to it pretty quickly. And it's a full count now to Graves. One away, bases loaded. That was a close take to have for the shortstop. Bartlett, Tennessee kid trying to open things up here for the Sylvan Lake Gulls and respond. And he hits it hard. Deep left field going all the way back. It's going to land off the wall, and it's going to drive in 2 runs for sure.
Great job there by Tylen Graves, getting 2 more runs on the board to wipe out what they just gave up in the top half of the inning as he smacked this one out to left field, sends it right to the wall. And Rittenhouse just tagged up to make sure that that actually got down in case he had to tag up and run back, and that easily scores 2 runs there.
That is how you take advantage of a bases loaded situation. So a pinch hitter coming in now for Dom Giusti. It's going to be number 16, Maddox Shaver. And Shaver had a great day on the afternoon on Sunday as well. And he hits it right up the middle, and that's deep in the hole and in the gap, going to drive in another run. So the Gulls did not only just respond and regain their 2-run lead, but they added an extra one on top of that, now adding 3 in this inning.
Yeah, Maddox Shaver knew what he was going after, sends it right up the middle, and nice little RBI single. Tylen Graves thought about it. He was rounding third aggressively, but just trying to make sure, hey, we'll see if they can make the play in the infield, and they ended up coming up cleanly with the ball, so he stays at third base.
And actually, you take a look at it, he actually ended up kind of taking a little spill there after third, and that's why he didn't keep coming home to third. Could have been maybe also just a little bit of a trying to draw the throw to maybe give Maddox Shaver an opportunity to head to second if he could. But yeah, no, when you're coming around the bases that hot, it's sometimes hard to put on the brakes.
And it could be that he was maybe being told to green light, and then all of a sudden that changed to a stop.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Could just be, okay, well, maybe we'll go down here to make sure that we do stop.
We'll talk about a good call by the coaching staff of the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Not saying that Dom Giusti, deserved to come out of this game, but a good call to put Maddox Shaver in there. And, first pitch swing, and the kid's got the confidence. He just drills it up the middle and, ends up doing the job. So that was a really good substitution and call made by the Gulls organization.
Yeah, imagine that probably is going to move Rittenhouse to the outfield, I would guess.
Yeah.
We'll find out in the next inning, but
yeah, exactly.
Odds are.
Unless Elijah Hamill then fills in at center and comes off the DH list.
Yeah, there's that potential as well.
That could happen. And then someone else goes in as DH.
Which I would think you'd maybe put Shaver in just because he entered the game, but you never know.
This ball hit down the line, and it's going to stay fair. Jaden Flores drives in another run. He's going to second here, trying to turn into a double, and he will. So the Gulls bats are heating up here as the afternoon goes on. Jaden Flores with a nice RBI double down the line, and Sylvan Lake is starting to pull away in this ball game.
Yeah, hot shot over to third base, just sends it down the line. He turns on the Jets. He's got 5 bags on his hitting. He's come around to score, so 6 bases in total, but 5 of them off of purely hitting. So a great job there by Flores to drive in another run, the third hitter to have at least 1 RBI.
And that's going to do it for Ethan Webster as he comes out of this ball game. They'll send a new pitcher in for the Lethbridge Bulls. We'll step aside. We'll be back with the remainder of the bottom of the 5th inning when we come back. You're watching Gulls Baseball right here on FloCollege. here's the new pitcher in relief for Ethan Webster, Cody Graff from Lloydminster, Alberta. And he comes into this game with just over 9 innings of work already this summer, 5.59 ERA, 12 strikeouts, 8 runs, 6 of them which were earned. He's given up 8 hits. Just looking for his first win, first save, whatever it may be. And the Lethbridge Bulls have some work to do. Down 6 now with runners in scoring position, both at second and third. Michael Quick, who has had good success getting on base so far today. All 3 times he's reached base. Still looking for his first base hit. Technically, he reached on base due to a fielder's choice back in the first. And he's quickly up in the count, working at 3-0.
The Gulls have gotten 6 hits in this inning, 5 of them in consecutive order, and currently the streak. We'll see if Quick can keep it going here, or if he's going to get a free base.
And he's just going to get the free base. So Quick has been really good in the batter's box with the eye this afternoon, and bases loaded situation for a very dangerous hitter.
That also puts the double play potential back in order for the Bulls, which
they need.
Is kind of what they want in a way. Their infield is really good, but Elijah Hamill's a guy that can hit a ball far as well.
Not very often he'll come over top of a ball. He usually gets underneath him just pretty good. So deep fly ball would also be beneficial for the Gulls. And Hamill turns on it, lifting it into right center field. That will drive in 2 more runs. A 2 RBI single for Elijah Hamill.
Yeah, good job there to just keep the streak going, basically. Just advance runners. 2 more runs come in to score for the Gulls, so that's going to close the books officially on Ethan Webster, as those were his 2 base runners that were his responsibility. So that's 10 runs that'll go against him in his 4 1/3 innings pitch. He faced 28 batters in that time frame, 2 strikeouts, a walk, 11 hits, and 87 pitches thrown.
The Gulls now batting around the order here as John Boy Rittenhouse back at the plate for his 2nd time this inning, who hit a double to lead things off in this bottom half of the 5th inning. And things are going from bad to worse for the Lethbridge Bulls here on this Tuesday afternoon. And when you look at the Lethbridge Bulls bench, it looks like it's a lot shorter of a bench than what Sylvan Lake's got going. You look over at Sylvan Lake, they got a lot of bodies in the bullpen. They got a lot of guys in the dugout. You look at Lethbridge, there's 2 guys in the bullpen and, you know, just enough guys to line up against the railing in the dugout. As this is scooped by Wheatley over at second to make the throw in time for out number 2. In fact, sorry, that was Tetsu Nishida who came over to make the throw.
Yeah, another run comes across here to score, but a good defensive effort there from Nishida to get over there to second base and make a pretty long throw from what he's used to and getting the out at first base.
But another run does come in to score, and guess who it was? Michael Quick for the 3rd time this afternoon. Pretty good numbers he's been putting up by getting on base all 4 times, and 3 of them have come back to score against the Lethbridge Bulls. Oh, 0-2 to Perry. Hamill at second. 11-2 now. Sylvan Lake leads the Lethbridge Bulls with 7 runs. And it's a strikeout to Coleman Perry as he gets caught looking at that one go by. But an inning, a disastrous inning for the Lethbridge Bulls, finally comes to a close as there were 7 hits in this inning and 7 runs came in to score. Sylvan Lake with an 11-2 lead over the Bulls coming to the 6th. Noah Bourgeois still on the mound for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. He's had a good start tonight, hasn't he? Or should I say this afternoon? Sorry, we keep thinking it's night when it's afternoon. And then tonight we're going to be saying afternoon. It's going to be a whole thing. It's a full day of baseball at Gulls Field between the Sylvan Lake Gulls and the Lethbridge Bulls. And then, of course, the Brooks Bombers ride into town for the evening game at 7:05. If you're watching, maybe you're at work right now, you're like, maybe we should go to the game tonight. Well, definitely get your tickets online if you can at sylvanlakegulls.com. And this ball hit to shallow center field, but making a great catch on the dive is Charlie Collins in center field, who comes over to replace where Dom Giusti was.
Yeah, good job there for Collins out in a new position for this game, so a good job to get involved early and record the out. But I will say, to finish your last thought, there is absolutely nothing better than throwing on a baseball game in the background at work.
Oh yeah, I mean we've had our fair share of that, haven't we? This ball's popped right up, and a great catch there by Jaden Flores, and a little smooth behind the back play to Maddox Shaver just to kind of toss to him after making the catch. So Flores now moves and makes a good catch over at third. So we got some adjustments to make here in the infield, the outfield. Maddox Shaver is now over at second. As we mentioned, Charlie Collins at center field. Trying to figure out who's in right now. In left field,
Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse is in right field, okay, and then Michael Quick still in left. And
yeah, there's a few humdingers of games that I've tuned into earlier this season during work. One of them was the road game in Medicine Hat, and had to listen to a former colleague of mine, Truman Bartman.
Okay.
Shout out to Mount Royal.
Oh, and that's going to land just fair and just beside Jaden Flores, who couldn't make the catch, but a hard hit ball, line drive by Cardell Dick to keep this inning alive.
In that game, I tuned in for the hit parade. It was a grand slam and then a few home runs after that. It was quite the inning
that would have been
for
fun
the
to
Gulls.
watch.
It was kind of similar to this. It just broke the game wide open, and at that point, it was game over. And similar spot, 5th, 6th inning, sort of part of the game.
And I know it's a makeup game from a rain-out game back in June. I believe it was the June 21st game that was rained out. It was a Sunday. Otherwise, I'd say they should have promoted it like a bring your work to the ballpark kind of thing, like what the Toronto Blue Jays do.
Work
I
from
believe.
dome.
Work from the dome.
Yeah.
I think they do that, at least once a year, every year?
I think it was a regularly occurring thing. I think they tried to do it like Thursday afternoon, middle of the week sort of thing.
Yeah.
A little day ball. Not quite like the Chicago Cubs who have regular games during the day at Wrigley. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's different. Can't imagine a lot of work getting done at the ballpark when those days happen, but here's the walk to Kavanaugh. So 2 runners on with a 2-out rally being put together here by the Lethbridge Bulls, and Matt Hape might be seeing, I think I've seen enough here. It's been a great start by Noah Bourgeois, but I think his afternoon is quickly coming to an end, and they're going to send a new pitcher in. But a really good start yet again from the pitching staff of the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And actually, you know what? No, he's not taking the ball. I saw
Chavez was in motion.
Yeah, Chavez was looking like he was ready to come in. He came out of the bullpen.
Might be one more batter here.
And now he's turning around, and he just kind of waves his arm in, well, fun frustration. It wasn't really real frustration, but he was like, it was almost like oh, shucks, I thought I was coming in there.
Yeah.
And he's going to go back to the bullpen so they're going to let Bourgeois get out of this inning. But this probably, I would think, is Bourgeois' last inning, maybe last batter. He faces Jack Wheatley, who's got a base hit and opened that hitting. Broke the no-hitter to Bourgeois, and this popped up into foul territory, fouled off into the bullpen. Just trailed away from the field.
Then Bourgeois, he's coming out of an inning where he kicked things up a notch. That 5th inning, gave up that home run, sure, but then he strikes out the side after that.
Yeah, he sure did. That was something to watch.
Yeah.
Definitely no rattling going on there. And he comes back with the heater. 86-mile-per-hour pitch that's fouled back.
See if he can put one more K on the fence here to kind of likely complete his day.
That'd be a good way to go out.
He's trying to go back to that curveball that was working for him last inning.
Obviously respecting Wheatley and knowing what he can do with the bat, so he's not wanting to give him anything easy. Trying to get him to chase away on that one. 1-2, 2 down. And ball hit right up the middle. Jack Wheatley has figured out Noah Bourgeois, and another run will come to score this time for Lethbridge as they add 1 here on the 2-out rally in the 6th inning, and that will be the last batter Noah Bourgeois is going to face. So incoming will be Chavez, and we will step aside and let him come in and warm up. But a great start by number 45 in blue for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Well, there's number 39, Trent Chavez, coming in for the first pitching change for the Sylvan Lake Gulls of the day. But Noah Bourgeois, what a performance he had.
Yeah, he did. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 86 pitches thrown, 4 strikeouts, 3 of them consecutively, as you can see there. Gave up 2 walks, 4 hits, and 3 runs. And he's got 2 more on the base paths still that would go to his name, but a really good quality start from Noah Bourgeois.
Gave this Gulls team some really good momentum and juice to start this ball game, start this doubleheader of a busy day here at the ballpark. 11-3, they lead it now over the Bulls. The Bulls obviously trying to just chip away at this huge lead that they find themselves down in. But it's not going to be easy with Trent Chavez coming in, pitching like that. 0-2 quickly up on Xander Meisner, who had that 2-run shot back in the 5th inning that kind of, sparked a little bit of life in the Bulls lineup. Again, that off speed floats down and inside for the ball.
Chavez has been really good in the last few games coming in and really working the count in his favor, getting a few strikeouts as well. So he's looking to pick up where he's left off the last few games.
Yeah, Chavez with 20 innings of work so far this summer. He's got a 1.77 ERA. Just given up 19 hits, 1-0 win-loss record. He's been a guy that they've been able to rely heavily on in timely situations, and that's the reason right there. First batter he comes in to face, does the job, strikes him out, gets out of this inning. Sylvan Lake lead by 9 heading in to the bottom half of the 6th inning. What a pitch. Cody Graff on the mound for the Lethbridge Bulls. He did come back in that 6th inning, or sorry, should I say 5th inning now, as we are in the bottom of the 6th. Came halfway through as the Gulls put up 7 runs on the board. And Charlie Collins will lead things off here, bottom half of the 6th.
Now the center fielder in this game, Charlie Collins.
Yeah.
So we saw him make a play last inning. Or I guess the top half of this inning.
And that goes to show the depth of this Gulls team and that what they can do with pieces being moved around in the field and having guys kind of come in and leave.
And it helps that you have guys that can play multiple positions. You got Rittenhouse, you can slot him pretty much anywhere in the playing field, so that's handy to have him. He's now in right field. And you got Shaver coming in off the bench. He's playing second base, so it's... And then you have most of your outfielders can play any spot in the outfield as well.
Oh, and then you also got Jordan Flores that can play the hot corner as well as second base and shortstop. And, you know, that guy can play anywhere on the infield as well.
Yeah, a lot of guys that can just say, hey, wherever you want me, I'll play.
3-1 to Collins. Fouls it back to bring the count to full. 12 hits, though, offensively. Everything's been going well for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Defensively, I would say the same thing. Been getting some jobs done.
Getting good pitching as well.
Getting good pitching, double play, get good fielding. And that's what's going to be so key heading into postseason baseball, is keeping that rhythm going for this Sylvan Lake Gulls team.
And until that 5th inning, they were doing a lot of their damage with 2 outs.
Yes.
And that's really what you want heading into playoffs, because there's going to be some big moments with 2 outs.
So Reese Sherman, he's 2 for 3 on the afternoon. He's coming around to score twice himself. He's got a double, a single. That goes just high inside. The NCAA Div 1 commit to Gonzaga University from Meade, Washington. And it's nice to have a guy like him to be able to rotate every other game. He kind of switches place with Eli Duncan. I'm sure he'll get the night off after this game. And he hits it on the ground right to the third baseman, Zach Carvanaugh, and he makes the throw, and they turn the double play. That was huge for the Lethbridge Bulls.
Yeah, it looked like they're kind of battling that one. A little short hop throw over to second base, but a good job to turn it on one knee there from Nishida as Kavanaugh went third to second, the 5-4-3 double play. So that wipes out the first base runner and the walk to Collins.
Well, that's what Lethbridge needed. They've kind of found themselves, they've given now 3 straight innings in a row with runs being tackled up against them. And Graves with a little bit of a side shuffle back swing there on that one. I wonder what this dust is doing for these batters and the hitters with the construction work going on. You know, it is still a work day for many, and there's just, you see all that dust coming across the field. I wonder what that does for the hitter, especially when it's going across the batter's eye. And, you know, when that ball's coming down the line at you, is that dust kind of throwing you off a little bit? 1-2 to Tyler Graves. Great shot there, guys. Again, Green Onion Media with the shots all year long. Even count to Graves, and he takes a defensive swing on that one and pop back to stay alive.
Yeah, it kind of looked like that first swing that he had, just kind of battling against it. This time he gets a piece of it to just fight it off, like you said, to stay alive.
Full count now to Graves. Be interesting to see what the attendance is for this evening for a makeup game against the Brooks Bombers that goes all the way back to May 31st. Be kind of neat to see if a good attendance show up, but a great pitch there by Cody Graff to end this inning after a nice double play. Eliminates the runners on base. He takes care of batter number 3. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Lethbridge Bulls. They'll come to the plate in the top of the 7th. Trent Chavez on the mound for hopefully his first full inning of work, as he came in 2/3 in that last inning to close out, which was a strikeout to Xander Meisner. So he's going to face now the number 7 hitter, Jordan Monroe, who struck out his last at bat back in the 5th inning. He was the start of that 3 in a row by Noah Bourgeois. And that fastball goes in 88 miles per hour for a called strike. Got Haney and Ryan, scheduled batters to round out this batting order in this top half of the 7th inning. One of those innings now where the Bulls need to start pressing now if they're going to get back into this ball game down by 9 runs, or 8 runs, sorry.
And on the flip side for the Gulls, you just want to shut this game down and head to the break.
Yeah, get set for game number 2, which is a 7 o'clock pitch. We'll have all the action right here on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. Feel free to tune in with us later on as the Brooks Bombers roll into town, who are chasing their playoff hopes, trying to catch Energy City. And you know they're going to be a very desperate team coming into tonight. Probably not going to be an easy task by any means against Sylvan Lake. And that's a team that's coming off a loss to this Lethbridge Bulls team yesterday. So they're going to be, I think, a little extra hungry. And they're coming in with the WCBL Village Brewery Player of the Week on their team as well.
I might be a little extra hungry heading into that game.
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully we'll have quite a bit of time to get that figured out.
Yeah, hopefully we got a little bit of time to get some food in us and recover. Full count to Monroe. And he works it for a walk. So leadoff walk for Monroe on Trent Chavez, and a great at bat there for Monroe to be patient. He was quickly down 0-2.
He worked it back into a favorable count for himself by, like you said, just being patient, not chasing anything, as Chavez is trying to get him to chase and be the first out.
Ball hit right up through the middle, but maybe a double play. What a play! As Perry holds on, and it's a double play for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Wow.
That was something special there. Shaver fresh into this game, basically ranges over. Nice ground ball, tags up the plate, and Coleman Perry diving across, makes the catch, had his toe on the bag as well.
And of course, I don't blame the pitching or the coaching staff of the Lethbridge Bulls. They were arguing with Don Busquets on that play because Perry did have to come all the way out to make that catch. It looked like his foot did leave the bag, but he then did find a way to get his foot back on the bag in time. That was, I think, the argument that Don Busquets had. But what an incredible play by Maddox Shaver.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to pick up that ball through your pitcher's legs, hard hit ball. And it was like he just had a beat on it from the beginning.
And also, that throw, he was running over to shortstop in that position. He's going away from first base. So not an easy throw to make. And obviously, it was a little bit offline, but Coleman Perry hung around. As we'll take another look here. Shaver throws it over. We're slowing it nicely down, and Perry reaches over. And, yeah, he does get his toe on it.
I think comes back to touch the base. So, yeah. Good call. And this ball flown out to the bullpen, foul.
Great angle there, and good camera work to have that perfectly in motion and able to slow it down and see everything.
Well, and as you see, there's another warm-up going on in the bullpen for the Lethbridge Bulls, and that's number 38 getting loose, Emmett Pengley, who's from Sylvan Lake, the hometown kid from here.
You'd like to think there's some family in attendance there.
Yeah, I would think so. Doesn't get any closer than that. Yeah, he went to Prairie Baseball Academy right here in Central Alberta. 1-2. And the ball hit hard, line drive to left field that will drop in for a base hit in front of Michael Quick as Jalen Ryan gets his first base hit of the afternoon.
Yeah, it looked like that one had a chance to get over to Michael Quick out in left field, but it was a sharply hit ball, so it ends up just being a one-hopper, quick knot. Wanted to make a diving play and miss it, give up extra bases. So just keep it down for a single and just try to get that next out.
Yeah, absolutely. And with 2 outs, why force it?
Yep. And at the point in the game, it's not like you need to come up with that play either. You got a bit of a cushion to work with as well.
Well, as we take a look at Lethbridge and their schedule moving forward, and this ball hit right to Maddox Shaver. We'll take a look at that schedule when we come back, but it was an inning to be had for the Sylvan Lake Gulls defensively. 4 batters come to the plate, just the 1 base hit, no runs, some great plays defensively yet again, and the Gulls coming to the bat at the bottom of the 7th. It is the 7th inning stretch. Well, right before the break, I was talking a little bit about the schedule coming up for the Lethbridge Bulls, and this is what they got to look at. They got the Okotoks Dogs tomorrow, not easy, 7:05 in Okotoks at Siemens Stadium, and then a pair of games against Energy City, which there is speculation that they got 2 more games to make up with Energy City. So will those turn into a doubleheader? Not sure. We don't know. And then, of course, they got another pair against here, the Sylvan Lake Gulls, both in Lethbridge, and then Medicine Hat, and then rounding out for a 3-game set against the Brooks Bombers. So not easy games, but some winnable games in there as well.
Definitely potential for a favorable schedule, just looking at who they're playing, but there's a potential for quite a few doubleheaders in there as well, which would really make things interesting. And because of that potential, you kind of got to manage your bullpen today already, which is kind of a weird thing to have to think about because nothing has been confirmed just yet, but just the potential.
Yeah, a lot of things up in the air late stages of this regular season, as this is another new pitcher, I think, on the mound, as this is no longer Cody Graff. It's number 38, Emmett Pengley, who's the local Sylvan Lake boy. And he's greeted with a base hit up the middle by Maddox Shaver on the 2nd pitch he sees.
Yeah, Shaver's been aggressive since he's come into this game. I think that's only his 3rd pitch that he's seen. He's got 2 hits already, the last one being an RBI base hit. So he's got back-to-back base hits, and also defensively he's been put to work. So he's been having himself quite the afternoon, even though it hasn't been too much work. This is his 3rd inning of the game.
And then talk about, seeing some young guys going to a local academy as well. Now you got a pinch hitter coming in. This is number 40, Dane Liskey, the Gulls prep kid. That goes to St. Joseph Academy from Drayton Valley, Alberta. So it's kind of 2 young guys facing against each other here. And that point of the game where I think Sylvan Lake's going to start maybe giving some rest to some of their guys. And with a 8-run lead, they're going to let some other guys come in and maybe swing the bats. But you nailed it right on the head with Maddox Shaver. Not only does he come in, he goes 2 for 2 at the plate, but defensively, the guy made an incredible couple plays at second in that last inning. Shut the door right down on Lethbridge.
Yeah, that double play was a pretty highlight reel one between him and Coleman Perry teaming up for it.
Well, he made all 3 outs for the Sylvan Lake Gulls in that inning. And a pop fly ball hit right to him. Well, not quite a pop fly, as it was more of a soft hit ball hit to him. Two and one to Dane Liskey from Drayton Valley, Alberta. The youngster looking to make some noise in this game. Watches that one go by for a ball. 3-1 now. Zero down here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. And that goes into the turf for a walk. So great at bat for Liskey in his first plate appearance. And that'll bring up Michael Quick. And it looks like Elijah Hamill's day might be over for this afternoon of game 1, as on deck we have another new pinch hitter coming in potentially, and Owen McDonald. You mentioned it, Scott, earlier too. I think the Lethbridge Bulls are at that point right now in the season where they're kind of, being cautious of which arms they're throwing in on every given day and game. And it just seems like they're not throwing their best maybe arms in for this game, which you'd think would be kind of a pretty important game for them, especially a team that they're trying to catch in the West Division standings.
But the way the game has played out too, like, sure, it was close early on, but then it really got broken up. So once they got away from their starter, the game was kind of out of hand. So you're just trying to get outs mostly, and then at this point, maybe you throw in some younger guys, see what they got.
Yeah, give some guys some opportunities, which is never a bad thing.
No.
Kind of get a sense of maybe the future of what the Lethbridge Bulls could be looking like. So 2-1, that pass ball advances the runners to third and second. Three and one to Michael Quick, who has got on base every single time he has been at the plate. And he pops this high in the air. It's going foul territory. And it's going to land harmlessly, just foul.
And just ends up being a very loud strike, as that one was close to being a potential hit, and then it ends up shading over to the foul side. And if you're the Bulls, that's probably one that you might want there, but that was a long run for Monroe over there in right field.
Yeah, sure was. He made a good stab at it. And might not be perfect on the afternoon on reaching base. 5 for 5, well, 5 times that he's reached base now. 3 walks, 1 hit by pitch, and a fielder's choice.
Now batting for the Gulls, number 31, Zach McDonald.
So, sorry, my apologies. On our roster sheet here, we have an Owen McDonald, but Zach McDonald. So, apologies to the McDonald family watching in from Lacombe, Alberta. Goes to Weber Academy.
So now we got both hot dog eating players in this game now, which you maybe Didn't expect to happen, but here we are.
Yeah, no doubt. See how those hot dogs feed him into this game. Bases loaded situation for the youngster from Lacombe, Alberta. This is a really unique opportunity for him to get his first taste of Gulls baseball in front of a home crowd.
He is very tall. I can tell you that for free.
Yep. He towers over everybody. Look at that. And he hits the ball right up the middle. How about it? A 2 RBI single for the youngster in Zach McDonald. Welcome to Sylvan Lake.
That's got to feel really good for the youngster. Good swing there, just finding the outfield grass. 1 run comes in to score, and then the 2nd run comes in to score. So a good little welcome to the team here. And it scores the other youngster as well with that play.
Welcome to the league as well, and his first at bat, first couple of RBIs in the WCBL. That's pretty special.
Yeah.
That'll bring up the big bat, John Boy Rittenhouse, with the runners on the corner now. 0 down. Now it's 13-3. And that has officially put it into a certain type of game, certain type of territory. The mercy rule is in effect, ladies and gentlemen. That off-speed catch in the inside corner. 1-2 now on Rittenhouse. And a little bit of a rude welcome back home for Emmett Pangley into this game. Rittenhouse hits it on the ground. Wheatley picks it up, makes the throw to second, over to first, but not in time. So run will come in to score, and guess who it is? Michael Quick. Yet again, comes to score for the 4th time this afternoon. And that's the 2nd RBI by John Boy.
In the pinch hitter for your Sylvan Lake Gulls, number 9, Bryce Turner.
New batter in the game for the Gulls. Yet again, Bryce Turner now getting the pinch hit opportunity for Coleman Perry. So it's essentially going to be a whole different lineup than what we started the game with at this point.
And you got to wonder, are these guys going to be coming in for game 2 tonight? Are they just kind of getting some early warm-up? This might be their batting practice that they're getting before the 7 o'clock game, or are they resting the other guys so that they can get ready for game 2? Tough to say.
Yeah, you have that option. You could go right back to your starters, give them a little bit earlier of a break.
And Turner just keeps the hitting parade going with a nice line drive up the middle for a base hit. That'll bring up Charlie Collins. Well, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We will have our EG Auctions Player of the Game post-game show. Everything happening right here on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. And then, of course, stay tuned and tune in to the Beyond the Bases live on Sylvan Lake Gulls social media Facebook channel, as this is another base hit right up the middle by Charlie Collins, and it's going to drive in another run, as this game is just blown right open with 1 away.
Yeah, the book's kind of out on Pangley now, as it's been back-to-back first pitch hits.
But yes, Joe and myself will have the Beyond the Bases live Facebook coverage after all is said and done as well. So tune into that if you like. Reese Sherman at the plate. And if you're Lethbridge, you just want to get out of this inning.
Mm-hmm.
Turn 2, get out and then try to make a miraculous comeback in the 8th. Well, I think it's safe to say that off day definitely may have helped Sylvan Lake coming into this afternoon's game. Well rested, and obviously all minds on focus and on point, and everybody's been performing. Sure makes it hard for us to pick a EG Auction player of the game when everybody has contributed up and down the lineup.
Yeah. You see a lot of runs come across the plate, and some players who had quite a few hits as well, and not to mention you had a pretty good starter as well. It's
the only guy in the Gulls roster to not get a hit is the guy that has reached base every single time and has scored 4 of the 5 plate appearances. But he didn't get on base to a hit. He got on base with just taking some walks and fielder's choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Ball popped back by Sherman. Foul.
And on top of that, well, pending what Turner does on the base paths, there's 2 spots in the lineup order that haven't scored. That's also with multiple players coming in and out of the game. So it's not necessarily 2 players that haven't, but just 2 spots in the order.
And then you got Maddox Shaver. He comes in partially through the game.
And has been hot coming
Has
in.
been
Defensively, offensively.
2 for 2 at the plate, 2 runs, 1 RBI. Defensively was outstanding on that in that one inning.
I'm gonna need a 9-sided die here to just roll and see who it is.
And it's a strikeout on Sherman. He thought he had the walk, but he was quickly mistaken as he gets rung up there by the new pitcher, of course, for Lethbridge, number 38, Emmett Pengley.
Good punch out there for the youngster. That's got to feel a little bit good. Maybe not in the moment, but one that you can look back on. Hey, that was a pretty nice strikeout I had.
Yeah.
Sets him up to get out of this inning now.
So now Graves will be the number 9 batter to come to the plate here in this 7th inning, as the Gulls have successfully batted around the order now twice in this ball game. It's been a little bit of a nightmare for the Lethbridge Bulls here on Tuesday afternoon. And this ball straight up in the air, and it's going to be caught by the second baseman, Tetsu Nishida. But how about this kid? Zach McDonald comes in. We know what the fuel does. A little bit of hot dog eating contest is, I guess, the fuel to the fire to get him his first couple RBIs in the league. here is number 33 from Richland, Washington. Goes to Whitworth University. Luke Stutzman making an appearance in this ball game. We've already seen him once, and that was back on Friday night when the Regina Red Sox were in town, and he came in to close that game out with 1 inning of work. Just gave up 1 hit, 1 strikeout, 15 pitches, did the job. Secured the Gulls a huge win over the Regina Red Sox. That kick-started the weekend. So this is our second time that we get to see him here at Gulls Field, making an appearance in this ball game. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, with those offensive changes that we saw earlier, this is one of them. Bryce Turner making the out. He's in for Coleman Perry at first base, and then Dane Liskey over at third.
Great catch for out number 1. Now again, with the new rule in play at WCBL, the mercy rule is in effect. So if the Gulls get 2 more outs without getting any more runs scored on them, this game's over.
Then we can enjoy some more sun, as
can-
if it's not already coming into the booth here.
You and I can suntan for almost a close 3 hours before the next game. At least probably 2.5 by the time this one wraps up, if it does wrap up. So they got a new pinch hitter here for Lethbridge by the looks of it, number 23, or no, 23, sorry. Matt Larkin comes in for Cardell Dick. He's a catcher. Ball hit on the ground. Over to third with the long throw, and a great one by the youngster as Dane Liskey makes the throw on the hot corner over to Bryce Turner for 2 away.
Yeah, that looked like a very routine play for Liskey. Looks like he belongs in this league, as took his time, had it easily, and took a few shuffles over, make sure that he's got a good clear path to first base and a good throw.
That'll bring up Zach Kavanaugh, the last batter, the last chance for the Lethbridge Bulls here on this Tuesday afternoon, down 15-3. And we talked about it earlier on the broadcast with the Lethbridge Bulls earlier on the season. When they beat their teams, they beat them by a landslide. But then they've also been the team that have been beaten by a landslide. And this ball is hit hard, and it'll go right off the wall. It's going to be a stand-up double here for Kavanaugh.
Yeah, good response there for Kavanaugh, just not wanting to give up just yet as he gets a double there.
Yeah, he
to
said,
try to keep their hopes alive.
He said, I'm not ready for home just yet. So that'll bring up Jack Wheatley. He's got an RBI. He's gone 2 for 2 at the plate. He's been good.
Mm-hmm. And quite a few plays defensively as well at shortstop.
Yeah, he's definitely one of their veterans. If former Sylvan Lake Gull from years ago, and he hits it very similarly to what Kavanaugh did. Out to the warning track it goes, and it's going to land. As that ball gets past the outfield, it's going to be a triple for Jack Wheatley, an RBI triple. So it's now a 15-4 ball game. That was a hard catch to make right at the track. And that looked like was that John Boy Rittenhouse? Yeah, it was John Boy Rittenhouse at right field. Missing that ball. So they're going to actually credit that as an error, but I guess.
It looked like that might have gone off his glove in the outfield.
Okay. So Xander Meisner looking to drive in a run here. 1-1 count. Wheatley over at third. And he goes all the way around on that check swing. Meisner got fooled on that pitch. Now even in the count, 2-2.
A very half-hearted swing, but he did go all the way.
Stutzman can end the ball game here. And it just misses. Down and away for a full count. Wheatley at third. Gulls up 15-4. That ball fouled towards the patio. And watching the patio, there's a lot of people not even paying attention to what was going on in this ball game. That when it landed, it kind of took them all by surprise. They all looked behind them like, oh, there's a ball over here. That's how you know you're just enjoying the ballpark and the vibes. Ball hit on the ground right to Turner. He'll scoop it up, and that will end the ball game as Bryce Turner touches his base. And the Gulls mercy the Lethbridge Bulls in a huge Western Division matchup. 15-4, your final score from Sylvan Lake.
Yeah, the Gulls offense exploded in this game, especially in that fifth inning as they bat around, had a couple batters that they saw twice in that game, and also a really good start from Noah Bourgeois.
Yes.
He really set the tone in this game for them.
That's exactly what happened. It would not have been possible without a great start from your starting pitcher that, you know, gets things going in the right direction to really set things up and how the rest of this game played out. And then, of course, you get the one run scored in the bottom of the first. Okay, it's 1-0. Then again, defensively, the Gulls go to the field, do what they do best, put up a goose egg on the Bulls. They don't get anything in the bottom of the second, but then once the third inning hits, then the bats start to heat up. They get one in the third, two in the fourth, 7 in the fifth. That's where things really blew away in this ball game, where it's like, okay, this game's not even close anymore. And then they add 4 more in the bottom of the seventh. That just really put the exclamation mark on in this ball game. But overall, Sylvan Lake, just that day off, you could tell they were rested, they were ready to go, and they're going to have to be ready to go because they got another one coming up in just 2.5 hours' time against the Brooks Bombers. So it's about going to be a quick reset for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and we'll see how they can come back and be ready for Game 2 of this split doubleheader. We'll hand things down with Joe Whitbread and our player of the game.
Of the game presented by EG Auctions, and for that we go live behind home plate. Please welcome the player of the game, today's starting pitcher, Noah Bourgeois. Congratulations, Noah. It's always nice to get the first game out of the way in a doubleheader, and even better when the Gulls win.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to get the first one there, especially against these guys that we're competing against within the standings. And then, yeah, ready to get after it again.
It did look like you had your stuff today. How did it feel on the mound in front of a very tough Lethbridge Bulls club?
Yeah, I felt pretty good. Slider was the best it's been so far this season, and then heater and curveball played well off it.
This Lethbridge Bulls club proves to be one of our postseason possible matchups. Does that go through? Teams match up really well. How was it playing against the Bulls, and how important is it to win against them?
I mean, important to win against everybody. Doesn't matter who's in the other dugout. We're going to give them our best.
Noah, congratulations to you and to everyone who's here to see you on Player of the Game honors from EG Auctions. This is Noah Bourgeois, their starting pitcher. Congratulations, sir.
Well, there you have it. Noah Bourgeois, I mean, a great start by him. Scott, you said it best. He got the ball rolling in the right direction for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and then they just didn't turn back from there.
Yeah, he certainly did. Sure, he gave up the home run, 2 runs come across the plate, but he dialed it up from there. He went 3 strikeouts in a row to close out the inning, and he ends up with 4 or 5 strikeouts on the day. So a really good start and a really good win for the Gulls to start off this doubleheader day.
Such a huge win for the Sylvan Lake Gulls in such a pivotal moment here in the standings. Now separating themselves just a little bit more than Lethbridge, but also it's not just a matter of trying to secure second place. It's also they're still trying to chase first, obviously, with the Okotoks Dogs.
Yeah, they're only a couple games back of the Dogs, so they're really nipping at their heels, and they're really trying to move up in the standings, maybe get that 1 seed heading into playoffs, and maybe hopefully get a favorable matchup, but just roll into playoffs, play your best ball, and that's the best shot you got at it.
Well, let's see if the Sylvan Lake Gulls can inch themselves just a little bit more closer with the Brooks Bombers coming to town in just a couple of hours. But the job was done here early on in the afternoon over the Lethbridge Bulls. Some great defensive work you know, nothing was really getting past the infield or the outfield for that matter. And then, of course, the bats start heating up. Jaden Flores knocks a couple runs in. And then how about a triple at that as well? He's got the bat going for him this afternoon. And then the youngsters get involved, not only in the hot dog eating contest, but also in this ball game. They get their first RBI, and that was Zach McDonald getting his first ever WCBL RBI in his career. And then, of course, the fans were taking it in attendance. And Maddox Shaver comes in and he says, okay, I'll pick up from where everybody else is leaving off. And there's Zach McDonald with his first couple of RBIs. The Sylvan Lake Gulls have to reset quickly for the Brooks Bombers in the second half of this doubleheader. For Scott Stimson, Calvin Bellows, I'm Cale Clark with another Bird's Eye View. We'll see you soon.